What's going on, traders? How we doing out there? Welcome back to Start Swing Trade. I'm excited to go ahead and get to the action. Smash the like out there, team. Who's ready to get back to the swing trading action? Let me know in the chat what swing trades you guys got on. Of course, we'll take a look at what I'm looking at. And of course, we might take some day trades here. Of course, you guys know I've been doing the prop account. And right now, I'm looking at potentially taking a little bit of some SQQQs. I haven't had the best day. I've had about 2 losing trades. I've had 3 losing trades. GCT was a little bit of a mistake trade. I took a little bit of a hit on that. I took a bigger hit on Mara today. So overall in the account, I'm down a little bit. So definitely willing to take some more shots today. So I like the SQQQ here. A little bit higher. Of course, you guys see the little bit of a trade setup here. Of course, I'm looking kind of at like the 15-minute where we can find some support that can act as where we can find some resistance that could act as support now. Of course, I'm looking right now at the SQQQs and seeing if we're going to get a little bit of a dip here and then a quick little rip up. So that's what I'm looking for right now. A little bit of a dip below, maybe towards the 45, 40s, and then a quick move right back up to the upside. We'll see what happens. I do see some filling that's going on here, and I could take this trade. You guys smash the like. I do have some swing trades on right now. How we doing in the chat? Hammer, Raz, Matt, how we doing out there? Smash the like button. Let's keep it going. Crassy, it's good to see you guys in the chat. Easy. Definitely. What do you guys like out there? What are you guys taking a look at? All right now we're getting that little pull back, so I'm looking for that opportunity, of course, to take a little bit more of this SQQQ move. And there's the 45 starting to show up. I don't mind this. So I'm going to go ahead and try to get a little bit of an entry here on the pullback. Let me see if I can get this a little bit closer. All right, I'll take the first starter there. So you guys just got filled there at 22.47, and I can show you guys even that screen too. So what I'll do is I'm going to take my screen down here. I'm going to put myself big. I'll throw up myself on a split screen here so you guys can see the screen that I'm using right now. All right, so I'm using a little bit of the trade to pool. You guys know about trade to pool. We've been talking all about the kind of prop action. And how do I feel about AI? Soul Queen, stick around. I got a lot for you. So we got a lot of talk on AI, and this is a big part of this right now. So right now, what I'm thinking is that we might get a little bit of a pullback in tech. It might be 2-3 days before we get the next kind of rally in tech. So I'm trying to play kind of a little bit of a pullback, but does that mean that the tech rally is done? No, but at least for me, by any means, I think we're still okay. I just think that we could get a little bit of some pullback action here. So I did get a little bit of a starter there. Now we're starting to come back here. I'm looking for the 2250s really to get hot here. And you guys can see I'm long here at the 2247 here with 100. Willing to add a little bit into this and then maybe risk, like maybe you can risk like about 10 11 cents on this trade. We're looking for a little bit of a rip right back up to the high around 22.88, right where we were. All right, so I'm starting to see it already starting to get a little bit of action to the upside. I'm looking for a little bit of a pullback here so I can add a little bit. So this like maybe going towards the 45s here. But as you can see, we're already stepping up into the 50s. Don't want to miss the move here. So we're going to take a little bit more. Just added a little bit more there. Now have an open position from 22.49. And I could add one more time here and then hold towards about a 10 cent, 11 cent risk here. So you guys see me doing this live right in front of you guys. Let's see what happens here. And I can go here towards more of like a 1 minute so you guys can keep up with all the action. You guys can actually see the little green dots there showing up on the table here. Now we're trying to get towards the 2250s. Can we break above this? Of course, I kind of see the pattern here on a 1 minute. You can see how there's kind of a horizontal line here. So I'll go ahead and I'll draw that up here for us. All right, let me pull this up a little bit higher. There we go. All right, so you guys see how the resistance is right above here. So we're going to look to see if we can get above the 2250s. That's really where the expansion comes back up towards the upside for a little bit of a meltdown. And also, this is another outlook of looking at the Qs going down, right? And so you can see here on the action on the bottom chart, this is the Qs. This is the opposite. And so I can also kind of draw out this trade here. How do I see it on this side? Well, I can see a little bit of resistance over here, right? You guys can see that. And now we're looking like we're trying to break this earlier support that was broken, that we got just slightly above and wanted to come right back down towards that 349. Let's see what happens here and if we get the pattern or not. And I think that one thing I like to do is always is add on the breakdowns and breakouts, right? So I've already gotten like a little bit of a core position. Now I want to add on the breakout or the breakdown. Here on a little bit of a pullback, I could still get it on there. The key is always sticking to the risk. All right, so we'll see what else is going on here. I do want to go ahead and keep an eye on this trade, but I don't want to draw all our attention to just my trade here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw us back towards my other charts. If something goes on with that one, I will let you guys know. I still have that on my right-hand side here. So if you see me look to the right a little bit, you know what's going on, team. But I'll just keep an eye on what's happening right now. It doesn't look too bad. And the key is just staying with the trade right now and then seeing on a 5-minute or 15-minute where we go. Let's keep up with the trade action out there right now. Let's take a look at what else is going on in the markets. And today, everything essentially in the red from the green. And this is another reason why I'm taking this attempt. Of course, today we saw stocks like NVIDIA even pull back after having a really good opening action, right? This is the 1 minute. I'll go to the 5 minutes so you guys can see a little bit better. Not so much distraction there, but definitely you guys can see the tech names were pulling back today, right? Apple even, look, Apple pulling back a little bit here. Microsoft pulling back a little bit. Google pulling back a little bit. And Tesla was really strong here and now starting to pull back a little bit. But this one already got to the 200 move that we were looking for. So these stocks definitely look a little bit blow off toppy on the daily. You can see it on the NVIDIA move here. And one thing that I started seeing on the Qs is the Qs are super extended from the 9 EMA. Doesn't mean that they have to go to the 9 EMA, but a lot of times, and you guys can see that on the historical reference, you know, when we get that expansion, eventually we start kind of trickling back down towards that 9 EMA. So that's another reason why I'm looking at this SQQQ trade towards the end. I want to get some pullbacks for tech. I'm all for it. And I even like names like Okta today and Splunk. And just to kind of put it in reference, I did take in the small account with the Moo, and I took a small gain, and I'm kind of a little upset on the small gain. I just had a couple of meetings that I needed to focus on, and I saw a little bit of some pullback action. I took the profits, but missed a bigger run on Carvana. I could have kept going into this name all the way up there towards the high. I sold it a little bit early into the 1280s when it was coming back up through the VWAP, but I did do this play a little bit well today. But these names even look like they're going to turn around. Unity. Let's see what happens here at the end. I'm swing trading right now, ARKK, and I'm keeping an eye on what's going to happen there. I'm also taking an eye on like an SEDG type of trade. That's kind of going against what I'm looking at in the long term. So do I like some names here on pullbacks? Yes, but I'm also going to keep everything with, of course, a stop and a focus that if I need to get out, I can get out, right? Like always, we got to keep in mind what's the most important focus here. And you guys can see that some of these solar names, they didn't have a bad little opening, but then now have pulled back. So I'm taking a look to see if we can get that. But if the Qs come right back down, that's where it gets a little bit scary and things can just start leaking right back. Of course, it doesn't mean that things are completely broken. If you take a look at, like, let's say AMD also got their past 130s, got to 131. I mean, but look how far it is from the 9 EMA, right? NVIDIA is still super far from that too, right? There's a lot of these stocks that are just ripping way too far. And eventually we're going to get pullback. Doesn't mean it's going to happen now. And even this could be a little bit of a buying opportunity. We don't know. Nobody knows. The truth is, the only thing we can do is just keep an eye on it and take some shots. I'm taking a little bit of a shot for continued downside just for the day. But at the end of the day, I do think that there is going to be some buy the dippers that will step in. The only question is, how many days will that take And will we see some continued leaking? All right, so I'm looking right now to see if the SQQQs want to make that move above the 2250s and then start to push. Of course, this is where we started getting the volume here right after 3 p.m. So let's see if that can push through that resistance. We made a move towards 2254 there, and we haven't made a move back towards that. I want to see if we can go through 2250s, take out 2254, and start working our way back. All right, and of course, I got to sell this before the end of the day. This SQQQ is more like a day trade for the prop, right? I'm just trying to make some of the money back on the day, and it doesn't need to be all of it. Just need to make back a little portion of it and take a little hit today. We made a step forward on the first day, and of course, now we stepped up the sizing, and sometimes you're going to take a little bit of a step back. The key is not 2 steps back, 1 step back. All right, we'll see what else is going on. What else is mentioned in the chat? Anyone looked at PayPal today? I got you. I can take a look at PayPal right here. I'm about to see that move towards 2250s. I'll keep an eye on it. I'll probably add to the position. I'll let you guys know and just work it. PayPal is one that I've been looking at for a move. Why? Because I think it's on the bottom there, and it's just kind of like at the point where we could see a move eventually happen. Square is another one that I think could eventually get a little bit of some love. And of course, these could turn out to be AI types of plays, but for right now, they're kind of sleepy. I think they are getting a little bit of a lift, and you can see here towards the end, it doesn't look too bad. But the only question is, how much of a tech pullback would we get? And will these take another pullback hit? I think these are some that I definitely keep an eye out. Right now, I'm not taking shots here, but doesn't mean that you can't, because these could be an opportunity. I was looking at them this morning, and you can see Square now starting to come back. Had an ugly start of the day. PayPal looking a lot better as that's up there towards the 62 and turning around. But you can see it's at the bottom of the chart. You know it's a little bit weak. Crassy said PayPal woke up today. It feels like it woke up. I mean, it did start to get a move at least. All right, let's see right here. SQQQs. Am I going to add to the position? I'm already in there towards 2250s. Now this is starting to get a little bit of a push higher towards the 54s. All right, now I want to add to this. I just need a little bit of a pullback here to see if I can get a little bit of a fill towards, like, let's say 53s or 52s on the add. So let's see if I can get a little bit here. Trying to put out an order here for a little pullback entry fill. Orders out there for 53. If I could get filled on a little bit of a small pullback here, you guys can see that. I'll give you guys the screen in just a second, but trying to get a little bit of an add. Once I get the fill there, I'll let you guys know. The order's just sitting at 53 there for the prop. We'll see if I get this little pullback fill there. There we go. Now I'm filled up. Now I got 2250s, and now looking for the move higher. Let's see if we can come right back up towards that 2287. All right, let's keep going. What else are we looking at? Shorting for a quick scalp on the pullback, Mitch. So I'm looking for the opposite, right? The Qs to come down and for the SQQQs to come right back up, right? And so you can see here, it's pretty much looking for this trade to come right back down here. If this happens where it comes right back down towards this level, well, then I'd be cashing in my SQQQ trade, right? And so we'll see how that one kind of gets going. And if it can go right back towards the 2280s, I don't mind just taking like kind of a little bit of a trade, like kind of an easy 30 cents, boom, take the money and run, and then start working my way back. I'm just trying to piece it after I lost in Mara today. All right, there we're seeing a little bit of a drop here. Let's go to like stocks like NVIDIA, because stocks like this could help us as we're starting to drop, right? At least for me in my trade, right? And so I look at names that were really strong to see if they're going to stay strong, like Tesla. Tesla's a good example, right? It started to come back. It's kind of doing a little bit of a bullish move here. And I would say this is a little bit of a bullish move, right? A little bit of a bullish recovery here. Could pull back and then catch a little bit of a lift. Let's see if it holds even VWAP 200. This is a stock that I've seen at least strong on the day. Carvana also strong on the day, but that's a little bit of a different type of stock. And you guys can see how that's pulling back a little bit. All right, so we'll look to see if I can get that little lift there. Of course, I will watch that to see if I take the profits or not. I'm just going to keep an eye on it. I will let you guys know how that's working out or not right now. All right, let me just expand this a little bit so I can keep an eye on the winnings. And let's go looking in underneath the hood to see what is also maybe giving us an opportunity on the pullback. Right now, industrials are interesting. I'm keeping an eye on it. Overall, you can see this little pullback. It doesn't look too bad all over this space. And like one is the airlines. I was watching American today. I did not take it at the 450s, but it looks interesting there on the pullback there. So I'm just keeping an eye out because energy really got hit today. And if we're going to take a focus on what we are seeing break down, and I still am looking at oil kind of really starting to fall off here. And if oil falls off, I think the airlines will actually do better, especially the ones that don't hedge as much on oil. And maybe that could get a little bit of a lift here. UAL, DAL, those are still holding in here. DAL actually made a little bit of an up move towards 36.75, then pulled back. If we could get a little bit of a rally or continue with these airlines, they don't look too bad there. And of course, JETS is an ETF. If you want to take a look at the ETF outlook over there, that doesn't look too bad. Looks like we have a lot of bottoming in the 18s. And if it can still kind of hold and break out of this little tight consolidation, it really wouldn't be looking too bad. It just needs to get out of the consolidation, I would feel. So move towards 19s, give us that clear break on JETS. Wouldn't look too bad. You might get some takeoff. JetBlue, not bad. At least you know that where your out is on this, right? I think that's the important part is just look at the monthly lows, right? Use the monthly lows, know exactly where you need to get back over. Last month's high is around 730, 731. Get back up there. If you get to 731, you're going to look a lot better. And that's going to be getting you out of this sideways consolidation. All right, we'll see what happens there in JetBlue. Appreciate the mention there, Michael, in the chat. The Crow, what's up out there? Yo, Mitch, SBR, a good entry for a long monthly dividend. Oil name. This doesn't look too bad. Let me see the weekly. The weekly looks interesting there at least because one thing that I would point to is immediately is this kind of trend. So you kind of broke this trend, you pulled back, and you're trying to recover here. It's kind of like an A, B. The key is, will you get the C move right back up? And then so I'd kind of keep an eye out on the kind of the daily. I'm sure you're seeing this kind of upward trend line reaction right now, and you're getting that recovery right now off the 69. So if the 69s break, that's where I'd be a little bit careful on this. But if you can work your way back to 80s, this will be looking pretty good. The key is, will oil come back? Everyone's looking at it right now. XLE looks like it's about to fall off the tape again. And I've talked about how we made that move. Will OPEC save it again? That's the only question too. One thing that I'm really concerned about is OPEC doing more cuts on production. But if they don't do more cuts on production, that's when I think you'll finally start seeing that oil price come a little lower, maybe get back into the 60s, maybe even the 50s. Keep your eye out there, team. All right. Don saying long target. Well, I don't think there's going to be many people joining that trade, Don. We'll see what happens. Maybe that can start working its way back a little bit, but not a trade that I would be looking at. All right. Ideas on how to trade Samsung semiconductors in the US. Crassy, how do you trade that? Just look inside the phone. What semiconductor chip do they use, right? A lot of them use a lot of Qualcomm. So I know that my phone uses Qualcomm, and look at Qualcomm rip right now. So I know that everyone's looking for a type of play that could be AI. Well, I have a Samsung phone right here. What does it have? A Qualcomm chip, right? And so look at that. That's getting a little bit of a lift and a little bit of love action here. So nice recovery there. If you're looking for something that's maybe starting to get strong again, Qualcomm. And I know it could be in AI, right? I mean, let's just be honest. They're in our phones. They got some AI capabilities. We'll see what happens. All right, keeping an eye out on the Qs because, of course, that's what I want to see kind of break down here. See if we get that next move towards the 350s. We'll see what happens on that. And I will be joined, of course, in a little bit. Stick around, guys. Anya is going to be joining me. I'm super excited. We have a trader that's going to be talking with us about the particular setup that they like to see. Of course, there's some names that she watches every single day that I think you guys are super excited to see. Tesla, Apple. We'll talk a little bit about those. And Costco maybe? Stick around, team. We got a good one for you. All right, let's keep it going, team. Smash it up out there. Ruel, what's going on? How we doing? It's been a while, team. And you're talking about Alster? Yeah, let's talk about those LiDAR plays. Not doing well, not doing bad today. Alster is one that I definitely keep an eye out. I think this is kind of more of a kind of everyone's looking into the ditches and seeing what stocks are really cheap that used to be valued at high valuations. So one that I'd keep an eye out also with Outstart, I'd keep an eye out for LAZR. Look how the volumes really increased lately. And this is one thing that I always like to look for. If I'm looking for attention to come back into a stock, I want to see the volume increase. You can see that last time this did a nice volume increase. What happened? Nice little push towards 10. Now you're getting this kind of rounding bottom look. And I do like how you're getting this little cup and handle kind of attempt where it went up, came back down, up, came back down, and kind of working its way, laddering its way out of here. So move back up through, like, let's say 7. Doesn't look too bad as LAZR starts to line up and a lot of volume starts to follow it. So this one doesn't look too bad. And if this one's going to go, you can also take a look at different plays, right? In this space. You got LIDAR, that's LIDR. Of course, this is another one that's dirt cheap right now. But look how the volume's starting to increase. Why? I think they're starting to look and comb the ditches, trying to get the cheap boys. So just be careful out there. A lot of times what happens as traders, right? And I got to keep my eye, of course, on my trade. And we're all looking good right now. One thing that I'm got to look for as a trader and think about all the time is the psychology as a trader, right? And so right now, we've seen all the attention do what? Go to the tech stocks. So we need to focus here. Are they going to try to shift our attention? Give us a tech pullback where the market kind of pulls back. And then they start picking up the cheap names while, of course, what happens? While we start seeing kind of the IWM start to prop up and start working its way back. So I would definitely keep an eye on kind of like the IWM to see if that can start making a move towards the upside. Because if that can start making a move towards the upside, maybe we see some of these smaller cap names start getting a lift as we're seeing the market pull back. Then we get the next lift of tech names as, of course, they buy the dip. So not saying that's exactly what's going to happen, but giving you guys live analysis here of how I'm thinking about the market. And what do I see right now? I take a look to see it. And of course, you see that the IWM is starting to kind of lift here towards the end. This is the kind of stocks that I would start to look at a little bit to see if some of these smaller names can start to lift and really start getting some love. That's why I'm seeing Carvana kind of push towards the next level. Look at the daily chart on Carvana. Nice little daily chart, held the 9 EMA, started pushing today. Definitely sold this one a little too early today, but you know how it is, team. Sometimes you're dealing with a lot of different things, and today was one of those days where I sold Carvana on maybe a little bit of a quick move, and there it goes, a little bit higher. Doesn't look too bad at all, and you're seeing it a lot in these smaller names. Upstart, I saw get a nice little move today. Look at that push. Nice little hold on the 9 EMA. Now starting to push higher through the 28s. Now 28, 23s. It could come right back towards the 30s. And these are the type of names that, you know, one of the things is they have like a lot of short interest and highly shorted. And a lot of people bet against these. Now's not the time, I think, to keep betting against these types of names, as we could see names like this really kind of get a little bit of a lift. All right, in a second, we're going to be getting into our interview in about 5 minutes. So stick around, team. I'm super excited to go ahead and get to some trading talk. Let's keep an eye out on what's going on in the market. I'm going to go ahead and take a peek into the Qs. I see them kind of propping up a little bit here, trying to come back and recover, trying to hold here around the 350.29, 350.25s. Let's see what happens in the next couple of minutes. Of course, that's going to probably determine how my SQQQ trade goes. And of course, I'll keep up with you guys. If for any reason we do get into the interview, what I'll do is I'll just set a stop as I focus on the interview, and we'll see what happens on that trade. All right, let's keep going. Let's take a look at what else is making moves on the day. Of course, defensive area is not where you want to be right now, and this keeps going lower. So I was looking at shorts opportunities like Mondelez. And Mondelez, man, this was a nice one. Why? Because I could see in the morning this gap down below towards like 73.88 from 74.53. I just wasn't quick enough at the gates as this one just flushed. It was one of those where, like, yes, it was a really nice level, but could I have gotten it? I mean, this is a little bit of a hard level to get here, but look at the 5 minute. It was just a straight flush out the gates. What I like about it is it did my classic VWAP fade where you get a hard red action, a move back to VWAP, which is this pink orange line that you see here. and that's at 73.69. You made a move to 73.79. So you have to maybe risk about 10 cents to stay in the position there. And then it goes right back to the low of the day, breaks the low of the day, and continues going down. So nice little move there. It was about $1.11 from the top there. So not a bad move there on Mondelez. Also saw Hershey's on kind of the down list early, and that's what get me to start thinking, well, why not confectioners coming right back down? They're just taking a hit, and you can take a look there. Procter and Gamble, next hit down. Kraft Heinz, big hit there, and so definitely not the place that I want to be on stocks like this. And you can see a lot of stocks really starting to fall in this space. I would be careful. Kellogg's, look at that move. You don't see that type of move often. What is this showing me? This is showing me that a lot of like bigger money is probably going and shifting towards more risk on approach. But with that being said, low PEs are not where you want to be anymore, because you can get 5% at the bank. Why should I be in Kellogg's, right? What is this really going to give me on the upside? Things like that. You're starting to watch that the low PE names start to get hit. And with that, you might even see names like, let's say, like even like grocery stores like Kroger take a hit, right? Look how Kroger is taking a hit. We talked about this last week. Look at that. Look at that move down today. I didn't even look at this chart today. And look at that. Boom. Big hit there. 47 down to 46. Why are they going after these names? Because these are just the names when the market loves to switch. And I always talk about rotation. I think this is going to be where I'll kind of wrap it up, and then we'll get to our guests. I always talk about rotation, team. And you guys always see me pointing towards kind of like what's up, what's down on the day, and why that's so important, because we can catch kind of the psychology of bigger money. The truth is, if we're going to trade with retail, retail's going to buy and sell something just because they want to. It could be that, right? But now institutions, of course, are going to move a little bit slower. And of course, they might have been late to some of this tech rally. So what could happen, right? Well, the first thing that's going to happen is they need to dump off some of their other positions, right? The positions that they feel are not going to get that value for the rest of the year. It could be these defensive names. So we're starting to see those take a hit. We're seeing basic materials get hit. We're seeing energy get hit. And of course, energy was one of the biggest winners of last year, right? So profit taking in energy, that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing right now defensive move away, right? And so you're seeing the defensives getting hit. Why is that? That's probably the low PEs, right? Another reason why you're seeing healthcare down big today, right? Healthcare is down pretty big right now. And I think this is a big part of this. And why you're seeing healthcare? Because this is growth at reasonable value. We don't need this anymore. That reasonable value part, the PE focus, right? Now it's almost like, okay, we can go back to looking at 60 times PE. Doesn't matter, right? I mean, that's the truth. And I think that the one thing that we need to be always looking at is the current environment. The current environment's switching really quickly. And why is that? Of course, is because we're kind of in this AI bubble. And now the only question is, how long can this bubble last? And how big will the bubble get, right? All questions that you guys can ask yourself. So I know that we got some AI questions earlier. This is it. This is the AI bubble. The only question is, did it already pop, or are we just getting started? I think we're just getting started, but I also think that we could see some pullbacks on a couple of days and then see that next lift. All right, let's go ahead. Let's get down. We're going to go ahead and bring on my guest today. I'm super excited to bring on new traders, right? That's what it's all about. So here we guys, let's go ahead. We got Anya in the house. How we doing? Welcome on the show.
Thank you. Hello.
How we doing? It's good to have you on the show today. First thing,
Thank you. I'm very new, yeah. So don't expect from me to be that smart.
hey, not a worry. That's not the issue here. What we're here to find out is, of course, how you trade, what you look for, and of course, what are you looking at right now? So one thing that you told me is that you have a particular setup that you look for. So let's talk a little bit about that. What is that particular setup, and what type of trading do you do? Do you mainly day trade?
I'm a fully day trader. Like, I mean, not a full day trader, full-time job like a day trader. Like, I mean, I do another job as well, but I mean, I'm fully day trader. I don't swing. I'm trying to kind of get into it. So in the very past I started from swings, and that was very bad experience. So and then I kind of switched to the short moves, to this faster moves. I trade only intraday. I very rare hold a position overnight, but of course I'm looking at like higher time frame setup and kind of trade my intraday setups based on higher time frame setups. So, yep, I'm a day trader, and intraday I'm looking for particular setups. So I actually traded a bunch of different strategies, and I have one my favorite one, which is based on kind of higher time frame levels, of course, stock
Hmm.
selection and Fibonacci levels. So
Nice.
and
So tell me a little bit more about that. So I like fibs also. I look at them also, and I study a lot of like kind of Dow theory. I like more looking at things like they go in waves, right? We get those waves up, we get those pullbacks. What type of
exactly.
what type of outlook do you kind of use there with the Fibonacci's? Are you kind
So
of looking
pullback, since
for?
I'm trading more like intraday options right now.
Yeah,
So and of course, when you trade options, you're looking for that pullback, because in the breakout, it's not a great idea to take options, because breakout could be momentum, could be not that last that long, and to you can get like a not great feel. So I'm looking for stock to break out, to make a calm down, make a pullback, and then when it's calm on the pullback, try to make that entry, and what helped me to find out like how far we can pull back. So that's where I use Fibonacci.
love it, and I think it works a lot of the times, and I like how you're using it to look for your option pullback, right? I mean, you know it. One of the game with options is trying to maybe buy on a little bit of weakness so that it's not such an expensive contract, and
Yeah, and
then
especially we know that on a pullback, the contracts lose more value than like the stock itself. So
exactly.
I pretty much can, with a good pullback entry, I can get better entry even if I get it on a breakout. So that's kind of Fibs helping me a lot, because I was trying to look for that pullback, like using moving averages and VWAPs and pullback to a level, but it's faking out a lot, and I couldn't ever always like find out where it's supposed to be that area for stop loss. So
Hmm.
on Fibs giving me very good. So if it's bouncing from 50, for example, percent area, so I'm using 61.8 for my stop loss. If it's bouncing from 61.8, I'm using like the next Fibs level. So I have like strong like understanding where should be my stop loss, and if it's failed, it failed basically.
That's awesome. I love that approach, and I think it's a very valuable approach to use. Right, you're using the next layer down in the fibs for that stop, and at least, like you said, you don't have to worry no more about where you should stop out. You know exactly. Hey, I'm getting in here. This is going to be where I'm getting out, and it doesn't have to be somewhere where it necessarily matches exactly on the chart. You're not looking at the chart necessarily. You're just drawing out your fib retracements, and you got your levels.
And yeah,
So
exactly. I love to have another confirmation. Like I love when Fibs supported with some kind of moving average, some dynamic like levels. Moving
mhm.
average, it could be moving average, it could be higher moving average 50, 20, or like a 5 minute chart. It could be VWAP, like some kind of dynamic resistance or support that's supporting my level. And if there is a kind of higher time frame level matching this area, so that's an A plus for me. Like let's say today few stocks gave that like short term like trade, like Microsoft, let's say.
Mhm.
So if you look at 5 minute chart, so my criteria is pretty like easy. So it has to be directional move, up or down. So obvious, not a chop, like obvious directional move, like Microsoft make it move down from like pre-market 3 to 38 to all the way almost to 331, and then it make
Mhm.
that nice pullback like on the 5 minute chart. So if you draw their Fibonacci fibs, so you'll see that it's exactly like make that fake break of 61.8, close below, and that would be my entry with a stop at like above like 70% about that week. So on that target, pretty much like another 60% down, the first partial and low of the days are like the goal most of the time.
Love it.
So
At least it definitely gives you an approach to always go off of, regardless if you're trading Microsoft, if you're trading Carvana, if you're trading, a mid cap stock. You can move all up and down the cap and not have to worry so much about where to trade it. Just draw the levels. I
yeah,
really like that
of
approach.
course, no, of course I still like do a lot of like analysis of high time frame, like on a
Hmm.
daily and like, oh, like even like weekly chart and 60-minute chart I use a lot, because you
Yeah.
still have to kind of select the stock right, because like when it's bounced from this level and you pretty much with Fibonacci trading the trend continuation, like basically you trying to catch the trend on a pullback. So you have to make sure that that level where it's bounced from, it's not something very very strong, that it's actually could be a reversal not a bounce, like.
Love it. And I
So
think one thing to just kind of really piece together your strategy there and just to understand a little bit more is when you go towards those kind of pullback entries for options, are you looking for more in the money options or are you looking for more out of the money options? What do you like
um
there?
it depends. So if you use more conservative like a method,
Hmm.
so and less risk depends of their like price of a contract and my size. So if it's like more like kind of not all in, but I can give it like a room and I'll trade like zero DT or anything, like I would go probably out of the money and it might be all in trade, like, right? So and I mean, but if I trade something like this, like Microsoft or like other stocks, not SPY, not indexes, QQQ, SPY, so definitely I'm trying to get in the money. So they're moving a little slower and they're giving me some cushion, like, not to worry if it's going to consolidate at that area for some time and time decay going to play against me. So I'm giving myself some room for like playing in the money. Yes, they move a little slower, but
Hey, we can't all go for the lottos. That's what I always say. You know what I mean? I leave it to those guys out there to do the post on
exactly.
the lottos. So, hey, I appreciate you coming on and giving us a little bit of insight into your Fibonacci outlook and approach. We're going to definitely bring you back on and we're going to take a look a little bit more into your trading. So, next time you're on, I do want to see kind of one of these trades in action.
All
So, I'm
right, maybe
looking
I'll
forward to
share
that.
like I'll share somehow. You'll tell me like how I can share like maybe
Yeah.
my screen next
Yeah, we'll
time,
set it
like
up. Hey,
my
I'll tell
traits.
you what, I definitely love the approach. And for
So
someone that
actually
doesn't,
about Fibonacci, and right now we were talking about QQQ, and like I'm not using them on only on lower time frame, but also like
Mhm.
I'm looking for that bounces. And if you look at QQQ on a weekly chart, so we had a very important 61.8 retracement from the high.
Okay.
So it's about around 350. So if you
Yeah,
take from the high to the low, so we exactly at that golden basically Fibonacci level. So we'll see how it's gonna act there.
I like it. I like it. I see it. I see it.
So
So,
I'm that's why I'm kind of today was very slow and try like not really took any trades, because I'm just looking if it's gonna reject, because SPY as well has a fibs on the way around like 420 somewhere. So I'm looking this day like how it's gonna react more, because there's two ways. If it'll break, I think we're gonna go high, but it definitely needs a pullback after this like almost parabolic move.
yeah, I mean, you're saying it, and that's one thing I actually didn't look at. So, appreciate you bringing that up. I look at fibs all the time, and to notice that going through the 61.8 and us running into a little bit of problems there kind of makes sense, right? So, we'll see if we
Yeah.
do get some continued
So
pullback
we have
into
that
the
level you
Qs.
see from October, I guess 22, right? Or 21,
Hmm.
like, so we have that level, and that level exactly matching 61.8. And I was like very interested about like to see how this week gonna work out for this area. 350
Yeah,
and 350 kind of psychological level.
we could be seeing a little bit of some blow off top kind of action, right? And it doesn't mean
Yeah.
that it has to happen. I think we all are down for another bull market. I don't think no one's going to
I mean, like the
complain.
best scenario would be if we have a nice bounce, like I mean the like a little bit like like I mean like pull back a little bit, you have a
Hmm.
nice pullback like ABCD pattern to the moving average or anything, and then we break. because right now if it's break, it's pretty scary to take it on that move like that already happened.
Definitely, I agree. It's very hard to open new positions up here,
Even
especially.
if it looks so bullish.
Yeah, exactly that. We'll see what happens. Appreciate you coming on,
Thank
giving us a
you.
little bit of insight also into the index. We'll bring you back on, Anya. Appreciate you. And definitely, I'm going to throw up here the link if you guys want to check out her Twitter so that you can keep up with her post. And of course, I love the post. You got to check it out, guys. I'm going to throw it up here and we'll see you next time. Appreciate you coming on.
Thank you. Have a great day, everyone, and thank you for inviting me.
Of course. All right, let's get back to the market. We'll see what's going on with my trade. I'm still in it, team. I'm just hanging out there in the SQQQs. Let's see what happens there. If we can start getting a little bit of some up action or the Qs really kind of want to break. I'll show you guys what I also see in the Qs that I think is very important. If I see this on a 5-minute outlook, you can see right here kind of how you kind of have this like kind of little trend line. What's going to happen here? Are we going to get the break to the downside here? Or are we going to get a push right back to the upside here towards the close? And we got a couple of minutes here before I'm just going to close the trade anyways, regardless of what happens. But I'm going to give it a shot here to get one more little drive and push higher. All right, we'll see what else is going on there. Of course, I got 1250, so I'm in the green right now, but not doing much. I did put in a little bit of a stop order while that was going on. I'm canceling that right now. Just going to focus in to see if we can get some downside action here towards the close. How's my imbalances, guys? I know that you guys are probably taking a look at the market right now. How the imbalance is looking right now as we start to come a little lower. Can we get it? Ooh. All right, let's see if we can get a little push higher through the 60s and a little bit higher. Get a little bit of our money back. You know how it is. Got to make that money. All right, let's see what's going on here. If we can get a little bit of a push higher through the 2260s and above and start to get a nice little up action. Wade and Money Mitch, what's going on, guys? How we doing? Easy? All right, you guys let me know. All right, direction starts at 3x AI 3x AI ETF. That'll be the top, Jay. I think they already got one of those, maybe. I wouldn't be too surprised. All right, here we're getting a little bit of action there. Now we're getting a little bit of a pullback. I did get a fill for SEDG for a little bit of a swing. Holding in this one for right now because I feel like we could always come back, but who knows what's going to happen here towards the close and how much we can leak or not. I'm just going to keep an eye on it and just trade, baby. That's all you can do. All right, now let's see if it takes to 2260s. I'm actually going to stop the screen, give you guys another outlook here so you guys can see me close the trade up as we see the action on Trade the Pool. Of course, you guys can check out Trade the Pool. If you guys haven't done so already, I definitely recommend it. I've really had a fun time trying to use this. Now I'm right now, of course, using an introduction for the prop, but trying to get it right. The evaluation. This is how you do it, team. You got to battle in it. And of course, not try to make it one trade. I'm going to keep battling. But you guys, of course, check it out. If you guys haven't done so already, check out Trade the Plan. It's a pretty cool prop account. And I'm excited because, you know, I did a little bit bad today, but that doesn't mean that it's going to be every day like that. And one thing that I always love to do is be transparent, right? We're not going to do great every day. That's all we can do. But let's just start battling and see what else we can do. All right, let's go ahead. I'm going to give you guys the link here. I'm just trying to give you guys the link and make sure that you guys have this to keep pushing forward. All right, let's keep going, guys. I'll get you guys the link in just a second here. For some reason, I lost it a little bit, so I just need to kind of pull it up here. But of course, you guys can just go to the website. So tradethepool.com. Check it out, team. I'll throw it up in the chat here. All right, let's keep going. Let's take a look at what happens on this trade, guys. It does look like it's just battling there. It's not giving us the quick move here towards the close like I expected. But that's also a lot of people kind of on the fence of what's going on. So we'll see what happens right now. Can we get a little bit of some up action? Right now, we're getting nothing, but that's just the way it is. So we'll look to see if we can get back here, get some up action, and really start seeing the Qs drop. But it looks like it's trying to recover here. And of course, if we do get some recovery, you could look for some wicked upside moves. So just be careful up there with both sides of the trade here as we come towards the close. CXAI. Let's take a look there. Oh my God. Earlier I was talking about this one and I was liking this one, man. I was looking for pullbacks on this and looking for a nice opportunity through 8. And look at that breakout. What a monster of a move there. CXAI. So big move there. If you guys haven't caught that one, nice move, nice breakout. Pretty much like a 19% breakout, and could keep going on the day. We'll see what happens there. Did get a little bit of a down move, but it's just hanging in there on the 2250s. So if it breaks the 2250s, we start going in the red. I'll probably just cut it. But just going to give it a chance here towards the close since I already have it open. Just got to make sure that I get it down before the close. Don't want to hold it overnight. All right. That was a good one on CXAI. I was watching that one earlier. It's a big one. It's a big move there. All right, let's keep going. What else is going on? Top and tech in. That's the question I think we're all asking ourselves now as we see this action. The only question is going to be, will they find the buy the dippers, right? I mean, of course, keep your eyes on stocks like NVIDIA for things like that. But finally seeing a little bit of some action here towards the pullback action. Let's see if I can break the 350s right quick on the Qs. Give me a nice big bar here so I can go cash out here into this move for the SQQs on the day. All right, getting a little bit of action there, at least some profits, right? I need some kind of profits. Work its way back here. Nice $60 on the day wouldn't do too bad. Let's see if we can get that, right? Little move towards 2270s. Take the money and run. I won't be mad at it. All right, the Q's looking like they want to break the 350s. Can I get that break at 350s? If they break 350s, then I can start really seeing it kind of come down here. Also, keep your eyes on Tesla. Tesla's starting to pull back a little bit. It made its run to 200. This could have been it. You know, just that nice little run to 200 now can pull back here again towards 190. It's been a big run there in 2 days there. Carvana still staying strong a little bit. That went to 1404. So I'm telling you, it's the smaller names where I see a lot of this going to. So I'm going to keep an eye on some smaller names. And that's why I would also take a look at like kind of IWM, see what happens with that, see if it starts making an up move. I will keep watch on that too, because I feel like that's something definitely to watch for in the market, and then start to look to see if some of these smaller stocks really start to move, right? That's why I can move through so many of these, right? Because the truth is I'm seeing a lot of these smaller names starting to get a nice little uplift. If they do get uplift and want to continue pushing, these are the ones that will get that kind of continued lift and lift the IWM. Of course, keep your eyes on some kind of higher cap ones to see if those start to move. Look at SMCI. That's in the IWM, and that's really kind of getting a nice little move. Celsius is in there, RXDX. I'm looking to see if some of these bigger ones can really kind of lead a little bit higher. Let's see what happens here. Q's kind of just still hanging around, not really giving much move here, and then now starting to come back a little bit. It just seems like we're just going to play a little bit of chop here. So we'll see what happens if I finally do get the move or not. All right, catching up with you guys in the chat there. Small cats play catch up there. You get it? It's playing catch up. Now look at it. Cheese, what's going on with the AI names, man? All right, let's look at AI. How's that doing? AI is now to 43, guys. I sold this one a little too early, guys. Just a little too early. Can't believe I had this one on Friday. Sold it way too early, as this is now up there towards 43 and continues pushing. So look to see what other plays can get that AI type of move. Nice pullback here in Adobe. Eventually, I'll be looking for that if it gets below 400. But here's the SQQQs finally getting a little bit of a push. 2261. Will the Qs break down here? Will it give me the money? 349.90s now. There we go. Now we're starting to get a little bit of a break. Here's a little bit of a push towards the close. We're getting a little bit of a sell-off here. Doesn't mean that it's a big sell-off, but it is a little bit. It's not monsters, right? But we are getting a little bit of a pullback action here towards the close. I'm just trying to ride it out, ride the momentum as high as I can, and then take the money and run. So regardless, I'll keep it at a break-even trade now. I'm not going to lose on this trade, but if anything, I'd pay a little commissions. All right, what's going on out there, Crow? Looking to get out success. Success, man. Success. Also, success looks interesting too. I was looking at that one a little earlier. I like the 1126 area for a 15-minute pullback into that area. And you can see here, I was pushing off. This one actually made about a 14-cent move there. So not too bad there. Just looking for the SQQs to continue here, but I'm not seeing that too big of continuation. And also the Qs slowing down a little bit. See if we can get back through that 349.75 low that we just made. Let's go to the 1 minute since we're really close towards the end of the day of the market. So just want to see if I can get a little bit more momentum here and then just cash it in. All right, there we go. We're getting a little bit more profit taking, right? That's what I feel like this is. This is more profit taking in the markets towards the end of the day as people get scared and don't want to hold maybe towards tomorrow. All right, here to 65s. I just want a little push more, and then I can just take the money and run. Let me see if I can get one last push here into the last minute here. Definitely want to get out before 355, so I'm looking for a little bit more. There you go, 66. Can I get 70s? Let's put it out there right now. See if I can just get that. All right, orders out there at 70 right now. Let's see if I get hit. Try to show you guys that. All right, orders out right now at 70. Let's see if I can get hit. Come on, just a little bit more. Oh, I might need to modify to 69. Modified a little bit. Still not getting out there. Should get hit right now at 60, 69. Come on. Canceled. Just gonna freaking mark it out here. Boom. There we go. Just took it off there. 22.69. Got out there. Nice little $54 win. Nothing big. Get myself back. Then I can worry about tomorrow. At least it becomes more of a manageable loss today, and it just becomes 120 in the dirt. That's okay. We can lose up to 700, and then that times 3. Max drawdown is 2,100. So not looking too bad. Took a little bit of a hit today, but I'll bounce back, team, and that's what it's all about. And so there you guys see it. Overall account at 88. So not looking too bad. The overall account, I can keep that going and keep pushing. All right, that's going to do it at least for that SQQQ trade. That's going to do it for that outlook. Now I can take a look into the market close, how we're doing here. And it looks like we got that pullback, but of course we could bounce at any moment. And that's what I felt like towards 355. And there you go. You're already getting that bounce there. So I'm glad I took my money and ran there in the SQQQs. And it was a nice little trade, right? I'll take that. Nice little kind of 20-cent hires. I got like, not 20 cents. I got 19, but hey, take it, take what you can get sometimes and run. All right, we'll see what happens in overall with these stocks. Of course, energy, healthcare, all those kind of stocks really taking a beating today. But overall, everything was in the red. Technology tried to make a comeback in certain areas, but it did not look good here towards the close. Look at Microsoft, look at Apple, look at NVIDIA drop, right? And it seems to me like we could see some continued downside action and pull back overnight. I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen. And if I should maybe take the SQQQs overnight, right, on a little bit of some swing trade action. But I'm going to probably head on the sidelines on that. I do still have ARKK. I do still have SEDG. I got a little bit of an ad on that pullback. So I have 29.27s, but I got to hold towards around 294 tomorrow. If this gets through 294s, I'll get out of SEDG. And this is kind of more based on the daily kind of outlook. Definitely wouldn't want it to get through the 290s. That would scare me the heck out. And coming in this very slowly, we'll see what happens there. All right, keep your eyes on some other stocks tonight. You guys can see what happens on some earnings. There will be some earnings stocks that will start making some stocks move, but it isn't the biggest reports, right? Just keep your eyes to see what you see there. I'll give you guys some of the earning stocks right now, and then we'll take a look and wrap it up here. You get U-Haul tomorrow. You get some other names that are a little bit bigger, but nothing really too big until you get finally Ambarella, Sportsman, and then Wednesday you get Advanced Auto Parts. You get Capri. After the close, you got CrowdStrike, you got Chewy, you got Okta, and those are why I was looking at Okta in the first place, because I knew it had earnings coming up. So that's going to be one that's going to be on my radar, especially if we can finally get back to a nice green day in tech. And you can see here how Okta closed. It didn't do too bad. It pulled back significantly, then came back towards the close here. We'll see what happens on this one. I'm looking to see what happens on their earnings report. And then, of course, keeping an eye on Square and PayPal, right? We talked about how maybe they're coming for the ones in the ditches and leaving the ones that have already rocketed off, right? So taking some profits from those, like names like NVIDIA, and then moving towards weaker names and growth names like PayPal, like Carvana, like Upstart. It seems to me like that could be something that we could see kind of catch a trend. Even this Unity is on my radar. I don't have it right now, but it's definitely on my radar. Snow moving right back up, right? We'll see what happens. CrowdStrike earnings later this week. Definitely going to be something that I'll look out for. Look at the run that CrowdStrike's been on. It's been pushing strong. We'll find out. All right, catching up with the chat. Any last comments? You guys want to take a look at any stocks? Definitely throw it up in the chat. Appreciate it, A-OK. At least we're able to get a little bit of some money back. Trade the pool, can't hold overnight. Of course, I just take the money and run. That's all I did. And that's what all it's about. And I think, always know what kind of rules you have and follow those rules. That's what it's all about. And today took some hits on Mara, and that was probably the one that I definitely missed out the gates and then chased. And then by chasing later in the day, that's what happens, right? But if I would have played it early out the gates, probably would have been able to take a nice profit in this one. But it will still be on my radar because it's still on the daily move. A move back above 10 will be something to watch for in a stock like Mara. All right, that's going to do it for me. You guys, smash the like. I hope you guys enjoyed the action. Up next, you guys got Cannabis Insider. That should be coming up next. Let me just make sure. Let me see for sure that that's set up here. If not, I'll let you guys know before I get off. Yeah, we got Cannabis Insider. We got live life to the climax. Live life to the climax. Don't miss that, guys. Live your life to the climax. You don't want to miss that. That's coming up. Cannabis Insider is where you get all the cannabis news. And of course, hear from the CEOs and companies themselves. So that's coming up next. Don't go anywhere. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Will we see continued tech pullback? It looks like we're getting a little bit of some push up here as it starts to come back. So that just goes to show you got to be quick, because I instantly could have lost that profit there. And just glad to be able to bounce back on the day. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Let's keep battling like always. And go Miami Heat, baby. In the finals? Let's go. Pencils down. I'll see you tomorrow, guys. Smash the like.